On the 17th of May, 2026, Casemiro walked off the Old Trafford pitch for the last time. The fans chanted his name. He was holding a framed shirt. He was crying. On the same day, Bruno Fernandes set up Bruyne and Mbeumo against Nottingham Forest, his 20th assist of the season, equaling a Premier League record held jointly by Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne. On the same day, Manchester United mathematically secured third place in the Premier League. And on the same day, the club confirmed Michael Carrick would stay on as permanent head coach, the man Middlesbrough had sacked in the Championship 11 months earlier. All of that happened in one afternoon. 5 months ago, none of it was supposed to be possible. To understand what Carrick has done, you have to be honest about what Amorim was. Appointed in November 2024 from Sporting, on a contract worth £6.5 million a year, he arrived with one demand: the system. 3-4-2-1, the same shape that had won him 2 Portuguese titles. United for it. Casemiro was a 6, not a half 8. Bruno Fernandes was a 10, not a hybrid wing. The fullbacks were fullbacks, not wingbacks. And Amorim, repeatedly, in interview after interview, said the same thing. If things don't change, I will not change. So the club spent £232 million in the summer of 2025. Mbeumo, $71 million from Brentford. Cunha, $62.5 million from Wolves. Šeško, $73.7 from RB Leipzig. Lammens in goal, $18.2. Built for his system, bought on his recommendation. Then this happened. Knocked out of the League Cup in the second round by a 4th-tier club from Cleethorpes. The first time in the club's history that a 4th-tier side had eliminated United from a cup competition. The Europa League final, lost to a Tottenham side that finished 17th in the Premier League. The FA Cup, out at home to Brighton in the 3rd round. The previous season, 15th place. The lowest top-flight finish for Manchester United in 50 years. Across 47 Premier League games, Amorim's win rate was 32%. His points per game, 1.23, the lowest of any United manager in the Premier League era. He conceded 1.53 goals a game, also the most of any United manager in the Premier League era. 45 of his 47 league games were played in the same back three he'd refused to abandon, and only 2 substitutes scored for him across the entire span. On the 5th of January, 2026, after a draw at Leeds, the United board decided they'd seen enough. Amorim was sacked. The club's statement said the decision had been made reluctantly. The reluctance, on the evidence, looked generous. 8 days later, the club gave the job to Michael Carrick, Manchester United legend. 5 Premier Leagues, a Champions League, a Europa League, coaching CV, a brief caretaker spell after Solskjaer's sacking in 2021, and nearly 3 seasons at Middlesbrough in the Championship that ended with him being sacked 7 months earlier. To be fair to him, he hadn't exactly failed at Borough. He took over the club 21st in the relegation zone and kept them up. Reached the playoff semifinals in his first season, but 2 consecutive failures to reach the playoffs after that, and the Borough hierarchy let him go. Roy Keane went on television and said United had better options. Most fans agreed. The schedule he walked into was charitably brutal. Manchester City at Old Trafford, then Arsenal away. The defending champions, then the league leaders. In his first 2 games, 2-0. 3-2. So what did he actually change? 3 things. First, the formation. Carrick scrapped the back 3 on day 1 and reverted to a 4-2-3-1. Same shape he'd used at Middlesbrough. Same shape United's squad had been built for under Ten Hag. The wing-backs went back to being fullback. Casemiro and Mainu got a proper midfield pairing. Bruno Fernandes got back into the number 10 role. The defensive numbers since the switch, goals conceded down from 1.53 per game to not 0.81. Clean sheets up from 2 in 20 Amorim Premier League games this season to 5 in 16 under Carrick. Same defenders, same goalkeeper, different shape. Second, the substitutes. Across 47 Premier League games under Amorim, 2 substitutes scored for Manchester United. 2. Under Carrick, that figure has already been beaten several times over, with Šeško alone scoring 4 goals from the bench this season, most of them decisive. That isn't luck. That's a manager who reads a game in real time, makes the change, and the change works. It's the clearest signal of in-game coaching ability there is. And on 47 games of evidence, Amorim didn't have it. Third, and harder to measure, but every player interview since January has said it, Carrick brought back the dressing room. He played for the club for 12 years. He brought Johnny Evans onto the staff, who was in the dressing room up until 18 months ago. Steve Holland on tactics, who ran England at 2 World Cups. Jonathan Woodgate on defending. The most experienced coaching team United have had in a decade. Harry Maguire, restored to the starting 11 after months on the margins, summed it up to Sky Sports earlier this season. He said, "Since the manager has come in and the formation has changed, we just seem to pick up results. The games previous, the games were 50-50, but we always ended on the back of a defeat." 16 Premier League games, 11 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses, 36 points, 2.25 points per game, the equivalent of 85 points over a full Premier League season. More points than any other Premier League club since Carrick took over, including the team that just won the title. In his first 9 games, Carrick won 23 points. That's a Premier League record, joint with Ange Postecoglou's Spurs in 2023. No manager in the competition's history has ever won more from his opening 9. He's beaten Manchester City, Arsenal away, Tottenham, Aston Villa, Chelsea away, Liverpool, the entire Big Six in 16 games. Bruno Fernandes, freed into a number 10 role, has just been voted Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year. The first player to win it since Wayne Rooney in 2010. 20 assists this season, joint with Henry and De Bruyne for the all-time Premier League record. 120 chances created, more than any other player in the division. Now, the part that matters. If Amorim had stayed, what would the season have looked like? Amorim's points per game at Manchester United was 1.23. Apply that to the 16 Premier League games Carrick has managed, and United would have picked up roughly 20 points instead of 36. 16 points, more than the current gap between 3rd place and 9th. Apply that, and Manchester United are not in the Champions League next season. They're mid-table. No European football of any kind. Around 15 points behind Aston Villa. With all the lost prize money, lost broadcast revenue, and lost recruitment power that goes with it. The Champions League place that was sealed against Liverpool at Old Trafford on the 3rd of May, that wasn't built across this season. It was built in 16 games. By a manager nobody on the outside wanted. With substitutes nobody else trusted. In a system the club had spent £232 million trying to avoid building. On the 17th of May, Manchester United confirmed Michael Carrick as permanent head coach. 2-year deal with an option of a 3rd. Casemiro left the pitch in tears. Bruno equaled the record. Old Trafford stood and clapped. And somewhere in that crowd, the United board sat and watched the data they'd just spent 16 games collecting confirm the only conclusion that ever made sense. Carrick wasn't the obvious choice. He wasn't the expensive one. He wasn't the name on any preseason shortlist. He was just the right one.